Hi. This is a general reading for the week of February 20th, Monday through Friday, or whenever you come across this video. I figured I would just do something fun, and I have no particular intention for this reading. It might go in a more creative direction. It might, I'm just going to see what comes through. I have my little hat on, my hat from Russia my mom brought me back. Again, although it's pretty warm out. It's been so nice here in Chicago the last few days this weekend. It's really sunny and gorgeous, almost 70, I think. Who knows, this weather is crazy. So anyways, I thought I would just maybe tell some stories and, I don't know, just do a bunch of different card decks and see what happens. Again, this is a general reading, so try to see what messages apply to you. This is highest and greatest good of all people. So, we'll just see. So, start out with, this is the Art of Life Tarot, and highest and greatest good for the week of February 20th. Always use your own discernment and your own judgment when making decisions. This is just, a guidance spark to help you out. Maybe bring you some clarity or insight into the week and the energies therein. So, highest and greatest good. The Star. Starry Night, too. It's really nice. I love this painting. I think in 4th grade we had to choose a painting, a famous painting, and recreate it and learn the technique of the artist. I think I chose, I think I did 2. I think it was this one and Scream. Anyways, if thou follow thy star, thou canst not fail a glorious heaven. Dante Alighieri. And this is Starry Night by Van Gogh. So, in my last reading, I said, or a few readings ago, I said that one of the paintings reminded me of this. So it's kind of funny that it came up. The star is, it's always a welcome card. It's kind of saying that all your wishes may come true. It's following your inner guidance, your higher self, your inspiration. It's has to do with the sign Aquarius, and usually there's 8 stars, 1 center star. It kind of reminds me of that quote, like, shoot for the moon, and if you don't get to the moon or something, at least you'll fall amongst the stars. It's finding what the thing is that you love and following that. Just the crescent moon up here in the corner. The swirls, the movement, just like the ever-changing rotation of energies. Let's see, it was on the bottom. 8 of Cups. It says, in each loss there is a gain, as in every gain there's a loss, and with each ending comes a new beginning. Shao Lin, A Son and His Father, detailed by N.C. Wyeth, 1900 to 1945. sometimes this can just mean leaving the past behind, leaving the baggage behind, moving ahead, moving forward, making your way in the dark or twilight sometimes in traditional tarot cards. Can also mean just like branching out on your own, like a kid going off to college for the first time, leaving the home base, leaving the nest, leaving what doesn't serve you behind. It can just mean, taking what you need. The star is traditionally 17 in the tarot deck, and 8, 8, 8. For those who have been watching, 8, 8 seems to be coming up a lot. Maybe that means something to you. Ends up being 16, 7. 7 is a spiritual number, means hearing guidance from your spirit guides, your higher self, God, whatever you believe in. But this could just basically mean, leaving the past behind and moving forward, moving towards your destiny, moving towards your ultimate, moving towards your future. It can also have to do with technology and stuff like that. I have a little, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but sometimes it's easier for me to remember they are. You can't see that. Oh well. Let's see. This is the Thoth deck. It has a lot of symbolism, a lot of colors. It has a lot to do with energy. It's just kind of a fun deck. I love the Art Deco. I keep saying Art Deco imagery. Clarity on the star and the 8 of Cups, maybe. The highest and greatest good, the week of the 20th. I'll shuffle them. I haven't shuffled them. In a while. Usually lately I've been doing readings where I've already pulled the cards because this does take a while, but, sometimes people like to see that you're actually shuffling. I mean, I have no hidden agenda, so I don't know why people wouldn't believe, but, clarity on the star and energies for the week. It's a great way to start off the week, by the way. Star, it's finding your hope, your potential, your just kind of fell out. Prince of Wands, and here was the 10 of Cups, satiety. Or this is the Princess of Wands, sorry. To me, it represents the sign of Sagittarius, but in this deck they usually refer to prince and princesses as energy, so it's a fiery energy, and 10 of Cups we got in the last reading, which is like ultimate happiness, ultimate fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, just being satisfied, happy. Cups represent emotion, and fire represents your passion, your, it's like that spark, it's creativity, it's, she has the sun there, her like little sun wand, and her tiger cat, and again the swirls. So far I feel like it's like going with the flow, going with the movement, the energy. It's fire and water, even though it's like orange, there's the same orange color. This has that blue color, so it's fire and water. Reminds me of the Vance Joy song Fire and the Flood, or Fire and Water, whatever it's called. She has these horns. They remind me of a ram, which reminds me of Aries, and or Taurus, or any of that fire starter energy that's all about following that creative drive, that creative spark. And on the bottom, again, is the Two of Cups. It's been coming up as well, which is all about, two people coming together. Cups sometimes represent, since it's water, and I associate water with time, sometimes I think of it as 2 days. But basically, it's, male and female energies coming together, meeting halfway, love, soulmates, just kind of seeing eye to eye. Let's see. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's because I'm not a very good shuffler. So we'll do one more and see what happens. That, Princess of Wands can also be a person in your life, or you. If you're a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, but it doesn't have to necessarily be one of those. It could just be that you have a lot of fire in your chart, or that energy is kind of swirling through you and you're feeling passionate about. Virtue just popped out, which is, again, that orange yellow color. This is Three of Wands, so it's all about communication and waiting for your ship to come in. On the bottom is the Hangman, which also is a 12, but it reduces down to 3. Just always looks like a flower, a lotus, or something blossoming, coming to life. It can be 3 people, 3 energies, 3 days, 3. This is the Sun in Aries. So maybe you're an Aries, or just have that go-getter energy. The Star. We'll just see, I guess. But maybe that color is important, because it's come up 3 times now, this orange and yellow color. Sometimes I like to read the actual book's meaning of that card, because there's a lot of symbolism that is in the card. So, 3 of Wands, Virtue. In the suit of fire, Sun and Aries, the wands take on the form of the lotus and represent the establishment of primeval energy. So yeah, I mean, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's the fire starter, it's the go-getter, it's, taking initiative to maybe make your dreams a reality, like the Star here is talking about. Sometimes in traditional tarot, you see the guy standing over a cliff, and he has three wands at either side, and all the ships are coming in. So it's kind of like you've sent out something, you've already decided the direction you're going in, and now you're waiting for that call. You're waiting for the communication to come back to you. You're waiting for the go-ahead. You're waiting to hear about something. waiting to see what, your next move is going to be. Some clarity here with these cards, just astrology and tarot combined. And they have a bunch of different spreads. We can do with mandala, and I don't usually, it's kind of like when you get a new electronic device and you're supposed to look at all the instructions and figure it out. I usually just start putting it together. I'm a little impatient that way, and that has to do with that Aries, Sun and Aries energy. So I'm not an Aries, I'm Sagittarius, but, just to show that you can kind of have those different parts of your personality. Try not to give you a show here. So clarity on virtue, 3 of Wands, and the star, number 17. Both together end up being 11, and 11 is a gateway. So maybe walking through the door, taking that first step, you've heard back from someone, there's communication between two people, or maybe you've sent out that, since we talked about the 8 of Cups, also can sometimes mean going off to college, even though that's not the right time right now, but just, you get the idea, starting a new job, leaving something in the past that doesn't serve you any longer, and moving forward. So maybe you're just waiting on that call, and you have the idea of how you want to move forward, but you're just kind of waiting to get the go-ahead, the okay. So clarity on Star and 3 of Wands. Week of the 20th. 4 of Wands, Jupiter and Aries. Well, Jupiter is all about abundance and higher education, learning, expansion. It's ruled traditionally. Jupiter is said to be ruled by Zeus in Greek mythology. So it's kind of it's lucky. It's said to, have to do with religion and things of that nature. Anything having to do with expansion of the mind, expansion of your interests, expansion of even, your commute, expansion. Maybe you're thinking of moving, or waiting to hear back on a house or something like that. I don't know if these are important, but they kind of came out on top when this popped out. So sorry, this is the Virgo Chariot. This card has come up a couple times in the last few readings, and Pluto and Scorpio, and the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups can typically mean that, 3 things have fallen, 3 cups have fallen over, 3 things have been lost, but there's usually 2 cups left that are standing, so that usually means new hope, or there's still hope, and maybe a new direction that you're going in, again with the 8 of Cups and the star, taking things in a new direction, moving forward, finding what does work, finding the hope that's left, and Virgo is a mutable earth sign, more water sign energy as well. And with any of these, say that you are Scorpio and the 5 of Cups comes up, sometimes I associate that with someone who is a water sign and their name has 5 letters in it. So maybe you're a Virgo with 5 letters in your name, or Usually it's a guy that is by the water and it's a stream flowing, and it's kind of like it's about a change of direction as well. Fives are change. Fives are also adventure, and it's like the midpoint between ace and 10. So it's where things switch over, and finding a new direction, finding a new path, finding looking at what doesn't work, leaving what doesn't work behind, and moving forward. I don't know. I'll just leave these there. And the bottom is a blank card. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, unless it's like the I Ching, or number 25, I think, in the runes, which is kind of like the unknown, the unknowable. No change, maybe, too, because when in the I Ching, if you pull a card that has no change, or that's blank, it just means that there's no change. The way that you read the I Ching is like usually you pull two cards and you read the changing lines, and if you pull one card and then another one is blank, you just only read the description of that first card. But yeah, so it's kind of like blank slate. Sometimes I think of too, clearing the way, getting rid of what doesn't work. It's not necessary anymore. And just, yeah, having a blank slate to start fresh with. This is the card that came out. So there's the square. Maybe you have a square in your birth chart. Squares are, what things that draw our attention. It's kind of the opposite of like a grand trine in your chart, where things just, there's ease of communication, and planetary energies can kind of communicate well. So there's just, that understanding between energies. So say you have like an grand air trine in your chart, like I do. That's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and they're all just kind of like communicating well, and like thoughts are moving fast, and it's like, I've said this before, like zip zap zop, and there's not really that need to focus on those areas of your life as much. They kind of just exist easily. So mental thoughts would be like, there's just clarity in a way in your head. Make sense of things easily. But because of that, sometimes there's this like level of superficiality to it, because it just comes easy to you. Whereas the square, that's where your attention is drawn, because things aren't as clear, as understood, as there's just friction, there's some tension between different energies, different aspects, and so you're naturally more drawn to focus on those areas of your life. So maybe, see if you have any squares in your chart, and that might bring some clarity to you as to what to focus on and what to leave behind. But again, that orange and blue color, fire and water, which creates steam. Or they can put each other out. So you kind of have to look at it both ways and see what. This is why I do the readings where you just see the cards, so I'm not distracted by my hair and reminding myself to look at the camera. But Jupiter and Aries, it's all about expansion. It's all about getting things going, finding the most direct route, maybe, and seeing where you can expand in your life and what areas, you need to get started with. If there's been something on your mind that you want it to get started on, then it's kind of saying to go with that, to follow that initial spark and to see where it takes you, see where it leads. Jupiter there, it's all about getting lucky too, with whatever you start. Fortune, abundance, so let's see, since I was talking about the I Ching, I thought I would pull another I Ching. I was actually just watching something having to do with, it was a documentary on the I Ching and how it was said to be, how it came about was by, oh God, I'm going to forget his name. It's, but an emperor a long, long time ago who said that he was given the information for the I Ching from a dragon that came out of the water and told him all about this, but how ultimately it relates to binary code. Because of the hexagrams and the different lines that all make up different of the 64 different divination messages. So it's really interesting. You can use cards, you can use coins, just 3 coins, and by tossing them, you toss them 6 times, and the lowest, not the lowest, but between the 3, if there's one that stands out, okay, you can look it up if you're interested. It's easier to just get a deck of cards and see what happens. But I thought that was interesting with binary code and the zeros and the ones and the different messages that, I think it was 1974, they sent out something to space to try to communicate with aliens using binary code, and a lot of the images reminded me of these graphs that I've turned into moving data, colorful dot plays that can go with, they're like colorful metronomes that can go with any music, and they all relate and correspond to stars, astrology, midpoints, months, language, cued speech, the alphabet letters, and all these just different things, and they're meant to use as meditation so that you can kind of just tune out all the different chaos going on behind you and around you, and just focus in on the what's going on your screen, the different moving energy in front of you, and tune your brain to these different moving energies, because you're having to see if what you're listening to is matching up with what you're looking at, and the speed of what you're looking at, the tempo, the colors, the placement, and they do correspond to astrology and constellations too. So I just figured that maybe there's just something ingrained in us that we naturally resonate with, the stars, and some things that we're familiar with. Also, they also correspond to notes, and I went on a tangent with that, but that's what it reminded me of, these binary codes, and how sometimes we just need to take ourselves out of our current situation and focus on something, and allow that space in our minds to open up and allow new thoughts to come in, allow ourselves to access our subconscious, the things that we, have stored away, information, dreams, anything like that can help inform our decisions in the present, or, bring about that creative spark, that aha moment, and insight into whatever it is that we're working on, just those creative inspirations, and whether or not those work for you. Maybe I'll put a link, or I'm thinking about actually making a playlist of those for people, but even if that's not what works for you and something else does, it's kind of this idea of active meditation, and utilizing all the different, senses and motor skills and all these things at once, getting things going, like learning by doing, perceptual learning, having something that helps you recall something in a split second, because there's that space, there's that open space to bring in new information. You're no longer clouded by something, all the thoughts and things going on, predicaments that you find yourself in, and you can just take a minute or two and step out of that and recenter, refocus, rebalance. But even if these plays, but I'm calling them plays because of Einstein's combinatory plays, but even if these, that doesn't work for you, then something else, maybe just going for a walk, getting out of yourself, work. These just kind of popped out. I'll put the numbers and the links below, but number 47, which ends up being an 11, and well, it looks like 49, but it's 8. Reminds me of, the cycle, the 8, which I also was able to create an image of using these different energies. I'm not sure if I can link these things to my Instagram right now. It's private, so, but I don't know, maybe we'll see. But it's just that, like, ever evolving cycle that we go through, kind of think of like just getting out of that and getting into a good flow here. It's 13-4. So 4-11, again, another gateway. I'm thinking of my own chart right now, and I have Libra in the 4th house, and Aquarius, like the star here, in the 7th house, which is originally ruled by Libra, and it's at 11 degrees. So those aspects, like I was talking about the Grand Trine, it's just kind of like ease of communication within your own mind, and sometimes people don't get that, but and under here is 23, and that ends up being a 5. I'm talking a lot about myself, and that's why I feel like these have come up, or what I've been working on. I also have a stellium of planets in the 5th house, which actually reminds me of, I was also watching something on NASA, and the first rocket to go in space, Saturn V, and it's funny, I was looking at my chart and seeing that in the 5th house, I have 5 planets, and so it's like 5, 5, and the lowest degree planet is the underlying energy, the one that's kind of like ruling over the rest, in charge, and that's what I have, Saturn there at 1 degree. So it's kind of reminded me of Saturn V and the rocket. But I am fascinated by outer space, and maybe in another life I would have been an astronaut or something. But I'll pull another card, since sometimes they just seem to react to whatever you're talking about. And since I was talking about myself and what I'm working on, I'll just... The highest and greatest good of everyone for the week of the 20th. Further clarity. That's 38. Which reminds me of a Pisces, which is, again, a water sign. But that might not have anything to do with it. I'll have to look it up. And at the bottom, 62. Kind of, yeah, again, it just kind of reminds me of aspects and Pythagorean triangle. So the 3, 62 again ends up being an 8. So 8s are all about power and change and regeneration and transformation, cycles, and it's elliptical. It's 5 38 also ends up being an 11. So 11, 8 is really important, I guess. 11, how many times did that come up? Like 3 times now? It's a gateway. It's walking through the door, taking that step. Yeah. Look those up, but it's a little warm in here, actually. I thought I would do another globe turn because that seemed to be pretty informative. I did find out that Zealandia, they're calling it a new continent, was discovered on the 15th, and I had done a reading just the night before, and it had gone in this tangent, a direction talking about ancient civilizations in Atlantis and unearthing ancient, Garden of Eden and lost cities and continents and stuff like that, and it was for the 15th. So, and I had also mentioned Australia. That was my first turn that I ended up doing again because I looked, and so I have to close my eyes so that I don't mess it up. But talking about a test run, almost like think of like the Great Flood, like it was a test run continent and didn't really work out, so we started over. I don't know, but it was just kind of funny that came out, and then the very next day, and that that was confirmed that it was there. And also the next one I landed on, I had mentioned Pakistan, and between Saudi Arabia and India, and just that area, the Arabian Sea. And unfortunately, the next day there was also something, a shooting in Pakistan. So, it might be coincidence, might be, decide for yourself. But, sometimes we're given little hints and directions, and it's up to us to take notice of them. We so often say that, like, things are just shitty and, blame everything else. But, I think that there's oftentimes a lot that we miss, that we could be paying attention to, little signs, things that, are angels, God, or people, whoever, like, helping us out with. Maybe you believe in aliens, and you think that all this is coming from aliens, extraterrestrials. Well, angels, all these beings are extraterrestrial. So either way, however you look at it, there are good energies trying to help. So keep that in mind. Like I said before, there is some kind of, like, sometimes you feel like a magnetic pull, even when you're doing the cards, and you kind of just like close your eyes and let your hand bring you to the right card, but there's some kind of magnetic pull. So we'll just see. Okay. No. Highs and grays, good. Clarity on this week, if there's any areas of interest or importance, areas of inspiration, even, like, you want to look into that country for their traditions, their cultural crafts, their religious values, anything that, could be a spark to get you to think about something that you're needing information on, creative inspiration, whatever. So. by Mexico. Maybe that area is important to you. I think that, I don't know, it's the Pacific Ocean. I'll try it one more time. Try it with my other hand. It's Australia. So, and that's right, actually, or it's backwards, but yeah, that's actually where Zealandia was found over here. So, cool. Or maybe Australia is important to you. Not sure what. I think it was more like Western Australia that I landed on, but I have to watch that back to see. Yeah, so think of Australia, Melbourne, surfing, outback, kangaroos. I don't know. But there's a lot of orange that came up, which kind of reminds me of the desert. So, I don't know. I mean, just use your own sort of guidance, your own intuition, and maybe that's important to you. If you're thinking of taking a trip, maybe that would be a really fun trip for you to take. You know, surfing, the whole lifestyle down there is fun. We're already at 42 minutes. I don't even know how that happens. Okay, maybe, yeah, I guess I'll do runes, rune cards next. Further clarity. Australia, ocean, star, Three of Wands. You can also, I mean, like Three of Wands, waiting for your ship to come in, communication across the globe. Wholeness. And on the bottom is 3, which is signals. Fehu and the sun. 24 is a 6, 3, 9. I'll read from this book. Turned right to it. Perfect. Life forces, the sun's energy. Soelu is what it's actually called. Where's the boundary between earth and heaven? After all, it is love that loves through us, is it not? This rune stands for wholeness, that which our nature requires. It embodies the impulse towards self-realization and indicates the path you must follow, which kind of speaks to the star and following your path, following your star, and also leaving something behind, taking on a new direction. Not from ulterior motives, but from the core of your individuality, which also talks to Aries, also, and the sun having to do with Leo, rules Leo, and it's, you know, it's your light, it's your expression, your self-expression, how you see yourself, Seeking after wholeness is the guest of the spiritual warrior, and yet what you are striving to bring into form is what by nature you already are. You must become conscious of your essence and bring it into form, express it in a creative way. A rune of great power and expression of the life force available to you, Shao Lin, marks a time of regeneration right down to the cellular level. That makes me think of epigenetics, which actually these graphs that little candle going there. Epigenetics and the idea that you can change your own DNA from, our thoughts and from our environment, and the graphs that or the plays that I've made that began as graphs using the Picasso system from the Einstein Center in New York. That has to do with epigenetics. It was developed within that field to chart, large variances of data having to do with genetics and DNA. And it's funny how I actually got involved with this visualization initiative, working with them. That's how I knew about the Picasso graphs, or system, I should say. And that is separate from what I've done myself, creating my own system of comparison between different elements and ingredients. But their graphing system is, it's fun. It's very painterly in a sense. Turning everything into dots. They take on a form, and you can shift axes to compare the data and the different ingredients, the different elements in different ways. So if you have a lot of different variances of information, you can compare, day to age to life expectancy to different, different countries to whatever within one graph. So once I realized that, you could shift axes like that, and I realized I could turn them into dances, data ballets, and I use my own sense of rhythm to do that, and make them work with different tempos and whatnot. But that's what epigenetics makes me think of, cellular level. Although this rune has no reverse position, there is a reason for caution. You may see fit to withdraw in the face of pressing situation, especially if events or people are demanding that you expend your energy now. Know that such a retreat is a retreat in strength and can include a voyage inward for centering and for balance, which then reminds me again of the meditation plays and all of that. Timely of retreat is among the skills of the spiritual warrior. Shao Lin counsels opening yourself up, letting the light into the part of your life that has become secret, shut away. To accomplish this may call for a profound recognition, for admitting to yourself something that you have long denied. There is a prayer known as the Gayatri, which embodies the spirit of wholeness. Address the sun in this fashion. You, who are the source of all power, whose rays illuminate the whole world, illuminate also my heart so that it too can do your work. So it's about taking in, positive energy and letting that circulate through you, so, you can give from a full plate and circulate that back out and give to others, and basically just shine and nurture others, because the sun is all about nurturing and life source. So how do you nurture others? How do you give life in your day-to-day routine, in your interactions? How do you foster life? Maybe just in a spiritual sense or in a communicative sense. How do you reach out to others and give of yourself in a way that fosters life in someone else or just in your environment? While reciting the Gayatri, visualize the rays streaming forth into the world, entering your heart, then streaming out from your heart center and back into the world. This is a powerful and life-enhancing prayer. Take care, this rune is saying, not to give yourself airs. Even in times of bountiful energy, you're required to face and vanquish your refusal to let right action flow through you. Nourish this capacity, for it is the mark of true humility. Practice the art of doing without doing. Aim yourselves truly, and then maintain your aim without manipulative effort. Meditate on Christ's words, I can of my own self do nothing. For by our own power we do nothing, even in loving. It is love that loves through us. This way of thinking and being enables us to grow into wholeness, and that is the ultimate goal of the spiritual warrior. That's nice. I think it's kind of like saying no man is an island also, to reach out and to, realize what you can do, what you can't do, and then seek alternative ways to, do the things that you can't do. When I think of no man as an island, I think of again, the Zealandia, and how that kind of helps indicate what stage of life that we're in right now. Another project that I've been working on is translating the alchemical cycle into something that can be understood for, translating into a creative cycle, creative process of how one stage, one phase of creative development naturally leads to another. So by recognizing and identifying what stage that you are in right now, you can see where you're at, where you've been, and where you need to go, and what steps are required to get to that point of development. And since we're always creating, no matter if it's in a project, artistic endeavor, or it's creation of life, evolution, society, by recognizing these different stages that always are going on, cycling through, we can kind of pinpoint where we are and what things to be aware of and whatnot. And stage 3 is about earth, and it's about terrain, and it's about the formation of land masses, and which speaks to the island, no man is an island, and also Zealandia, and how that that naturally leads to a coming together of conjunctio, or the point at which knowledge turns into understanding, or when things come together, it's the meeting point. It's a recognition of how all parts start to work together. Excuse me. And I wish I had that with me right now, but it's interesting. There's 8 cycles, 8 phases, 8 stages, which may be why these 8s keep coming up. But maybe I'll read 3 as well. So Fehu is all about messages coming through, different means. Spiritually speaking, a lot of people consider birds to be messengers. But anything that works for you, whatever you feel most comfortable with, whether it's music or even just TV, sometimes like, a commercial that comes on and it just reminds you of something. There's a multitude of ways that messages and insights, clarity can come about, and it's about just recognizing that, just, being, look alive, being awake, being aware of what universe is trying to say to you. It's really not that complicated. Signals. The god Loki, which is the trickster, traditionally, messenger rune. And still the waters rise, crossing the deeps, a messenger brings the promise of new life unfolding. O Ancient of Days, may the beauty of your intention show in our faces. The keynote here is receiving messages, signals, gifts. Even a timely warning may be seen as a gift. The message that kind of is like, forewarned is forearmed, if you think of it that way. Not that I want to deliver any, seemingly bad messages or anything that causes, anxiety or anything like that, but try to think of it as, yeah, there's always ups and downs. So forewarned is forearmed. You know, you don't want to like live in a rose-colored glasses sort of world where everything is just sort of like, you know, blinders onto anything that isn't, you know, happy and good. You know, we can't always live in like a, you know, things aren't always good. Things aren't always positive. So it's about taking precautions too and listening so that adequate precautions can be taken. You know, there's some people that are just so like constantly happy, constantly never, you know, nothing's ever wrong or anything like that. And it's just so fake to me because it's like life is hard, you know, life's not easy. It wasn't promised that it would be easy, but there are things that we can tap into and understand, help us understand what is going on around us. And if we listen, we pay attention, we understand cycles, we understand where we're at, where we want to go, where we've been, it's easier to navigate that. It's like navigating the gray, you know, from one side to another and figuring out how to get where you're going and not sugarcoating things necessarily. Like, yes, definitely trying to find the positive in things, but sometimes things aren't positive. So what can you do to make things better? And I think it's not about like I said, sugarcoating, not being afraid to talk about things that aren't necessarily positive, because that's life, you know, friendships, even anything, relationships, you have to have that open exchange and be able, feel comfortable talking about things that aren't, you know, always on that surface level of like happy-go-lucky and superficial in a way too, because, you know, if you want life to have any sort of deeper meaning at all, which I think we all kind of do, you know, to some degree, like you have to be able to talk about things that aren't, you know, necessarily positive, if only to move forward and make things more positive. You know, by recognizing what's not good, we can figure out how to make things better. So, you know, it's like getting beyond that surface level, going deep, diving deep, being not afraid and to talk about things, not afraid to talk about your weaknesses, talk about what, you know, that those things make you strong. By recognizing, not just ignoring them and having blinders on, we become able to recognize how we can become strong. So the message may be that of a new life unfolding, for new life begins with new connections, surprising linkages that direct you on new pathways. There we go. 8 of Cups, Star, 3 of Wands, the Chariot that came up earlier. Take care now to be especially aware during meetings, visits, chance encounters, particularly with persons wiser than yourself. When the messenger rune brings sacred knowledge, you are truly blessed. The rune of signals is associated with Loki, the ancient trickster from the pantheon of the Norse gods. He is the Heyoka of the North American Indian, a mocking shadow of the creator god, as well as the bringer of benefits to humankind. He's a reminder that even scoundrels and arch thieves can be bearers of wisdom. When you draw this rune, expect the unexpected. The message is always a call to new life, which I think really speaks to the Star and the 8 of Cups, and it's like leaving behind something and moving forward towards a new destination. Signals is the first of the 13 runes that make up the cycle of initiation, runes that focus directly upon the mechanisms of self-change, and as such addresses our need to integrate unconscious motive with conscious intent. Drawing Ansuz advises you that connection with the divine is at hand. This rune invites you to explore the depths, there we go, the foundation of life, and to experience the inexhaustible wellspring of the divine in your own nature. At the same time, you are reminded that you must first draw from the well to nourish and give to yourself. That speaks to the Solulu and, you know, bringing in the light so that you can give from a full plate. Then there will be more than enough to nourish others. A new sense of family, solidarity invests this room. There we go. know if there's, I feel like all that's pretty self-explanatory. If there's anything else. By the way, like, if you have any questions or anything like that, I don't pretend to be an expert, but I'm more than willing to answer whatever questions you have that, if I can help in any way, you can always just email me or something like that. Oh, I was thinking of doing a oracle card, but I left the book for the oracle cards that I usually use upstairs. So, maybe I'll use these Rumi cards. They're a little deep. They're a little heavy, but oh no. Just found this. It's actually, so this is a total side note. This is from Kenya, from the Mara area, the Maasai tribe. It's handmade. It's so pretty. Maybe I'll put it on. Hat actually reminds me of that too. They have these. They try not to kill animals or lions or anything like that, but forget the exact story. But there was a hat made of lion, and the leader of the last person to have fought and won a battle with the lion wears it. They're just full of really interesting. So if it's like that, it looks better on them. Plain dress up here. But yeah, Kenya is an amazing city. Just FYI, if you haven't been, I completely encourage going there. I was on safari for 2 weeks there, and we visited the Mara area, and the train is so loud. Sometimes I think of even train signals, you kind of have to like get a feel for, kind of trial and error kind of thing, but sometimes train horns signify to me that you're either on the right track or pay attention. I think that's usually what signals and things like that mean. It's not so much even like looking at a clock or something and you keep picking up on a certain number or time of day or something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that number or the train is important, but that whatever the thing that you're talking about is is important to pay attention to. So in your own life, how does that work out? What signs and symbols do you pick up on? What signals do you pick up on? But yeah, I was talking about Kenya and how it's just an amazing country, and people there are just so kind and so easygoing and so go with the flow, and no worries is always there. Even when my entire bag was stolen by like an ape. No, I don't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, they just snuck into our took my bag with my visa, my passport, everything, and ran off with it, little thieves. But the guy, our guide was like, "Oh, no worries, and they all ran after, and they got him. But it's such a beautiful country, and when we visited this Maasai tribe, they came out to greet us, all singing these beautiful songs, and just so friendly and welcoming, and just I think of the 12 tribes of Israel then too. I don't know where that came from. But I really don't know where I was going with that. I don't know. But yeah, if you haven't visited Africa, it's an amazing trip, and really something that you should try to do in your lifetime. Because I mean, I was very lucky. I wouldn't have been able to go on my own, but I had a family member who took me, and um, you stay in these camps, and first we stayed in an elephant bedroom camp where there's literally elephants that will come just walking through the dining room as you're eating, and out of nowhere these guys come with big guns, just to, you know, they try very hard not to, inflict any injuries or anything like that on these animals, but they do have to protect you. You have to signal to them with a flashlight to come and get you from your tent and walk you with their machine guns, because you're in the wilderness, you're in the midst of the desert and lions, and there's some places are more fenced in than others, but it's kind of, it's very surreal how close you even get to some of the animals during your game drive, not game drives, games. And a lion can be like 15 feet away from you, and you almost forget that you're not like in Disneyland or something, like their own safari, like make-believe thing, because it's like, it's very scary, in a way, but it's amazing. And yeah, we started in Nairobi, and then we went to the elephant bedroom camp, and then went down to Nakuru, and then down to the Masai Mara area, and just visited the different, different terrains, the different tribes, and the different communities and cities, and just how they live. It's just so interesting, and they teach you how to, start a fire, and they're funny. People are just so welcoming. Anyways, yeah, this is just beautiful, and it's handmade by the Maasai women there. So again, like rainbow, orangey blue colors. Maybe that'd be inspiring for accessories or something like that. Maybe I'll pull, before I do the oracle cards, pull a flower card, Shakespeare's Flowers. Just for, floral inspiration, colors, scents. Ooh, let's make our own scent. Let's see, let's pull like 4 different cards and see. I don't know anything about flowers and scents, but maybe, be fun to make your own scent. So, I don't know if it's going to go with the reading, but it's either a side note or maybe it'll bring together some other things we've talked about. Thistle, 7 of clubs. Shakespeare quote is, "There thou prickest her with a thistle, much to do about nothing." Oh, God. King of Hearts, Bluebell. Thou shalt not lack the flower that's like thy face, pale primrose, nor the azured harebell like thy veins. Cymbeline, 4th. King of Cups is like King of Hearts is like King of Cups, and it's like the 7 of Clubs. 2 more cards that may be important or to help clarify this reading or to make a nice scent. Eight of Cups, Eight of Hearts, monkshood. Though it do work as strong as a conatum, King Henry IV. So there's like, these are all purple so far. Different shades of purple, green. Last one. Before, sweet marjoram. She was the sweet marjoram of the salad. All's well that ends well. There we go, to sum up this reading. All shades of purple, lavender, 5 of swords, 5 diamonds, on the bottom, maybe as like a foundation note, is oak. From A Midsummer's Night Dream. Like the Prince, Jack of Hearts, or Cups. So I'll put those below. And I guess we'll end with Cool card. Hopefully this is helpful or somewhat inspiring to you. I'm gonna get comfortable here. Oh. I don't know, these just popped out. Resplendent with Grace, number 24, and The Lion and the Deer, 22. I'll shuffle them though. These are long explanations and long readings, but what the heck, we're only at an hour and 13 minutes. It's taken longer before, so to sum up this reading, to sum up all this information, charting new courses, communication. 3 is also reminds me of Gemini and 3rd house of communication. There we go. Victory of Miriam, 41. The only other time I've used this deck as an oracle card deck for one of these readings, we actually got this, Arise. So, just pointing that out. Victory of Miriam, 41, which ends up being a 5. So whether or not you believe in like God or anything like that, that's what these cards are referring to. So, you know, put in whatever context that you like. That makes sense for you. This is, if you are longing to caress the moon, don't turn away from it. If you are not ill, why do you crawl under a blanket to hide? You are an quarry of sweets, why do you look so sour? You live in the spring of life, why are you withered inside? Don't fight against yourself, don't flee from what could be your glory. Like a fearless moth, dive into the flame. Why be linked to your obsessions? Burn out in the flames. Until your heart and soul are enlightened, get out of your old carcass and form yourself a new body. Why are you afraid of a fox? When you descend from the lions, why be a lame ass when you have the strength of stallions? The beloved you seek will arrive to open the door to your fortune, which reminds me of Jupiter and the star. And for love is the key that opens all your locks. You feel you are immortal, and I know you are divine. You feel you are not ready for the task, and I know that triumph is only moments away. You reach to me for protection, but you are me. You and the protection that you seek is already with you. We are not apart. I am living through all that you are and all that you love, all that you have lost and all that you offer to me in surrender. I am in you as your courage and magnificence. And any task I send to you is simply one of the tasks for which you were born. You are an eagle with wings ready to soar, so I push you from the cliff top that you may know yourself. That's nice. This oracle brings you a message of affirmation and success. Your victory is already assured. You are being led into it now. No matter if you believe it is not possible, and you are placing more faith in the appearance of distraction or obstacle than in utter success. No matter if you have forgotten for a moment that you are divine, that the divine lives in you as you, and that apparent failure is only a part of the process, the plan through which learning happens, serving the ultimate holy victory. Yes, your victory is inevitable. The last reading I did was all about victory and the chariot and being victorious. So maybe this is like a carryover of that. So you're being given this reminder from the Holy Mother Mary, also called Miriam, and the beloved divine presence of love that she serves. It is that presence that is real. It is the Holy Mother that is real. It is the divine in you that is real, and all else swirls around you, so your soul can play. Every challenge and adventure is an opportunity for you to test your mettle and to be what you are in truth. The eagle that flies requires space and open sky. The tigress that hunts requires hunger to drive her to fulfill her being and to live her nature. You need what you need to realize your divine nature as a living, holy expression of the greatest love. So life is providing for you that your needs be met. Whatever may be troubling you or is soon to present itself is not a situation or circumstance meant to bring you trouble. You just need to allow yourself to become more eagle-eyed, beloved wild one. It is not what appears to be that is the source of challenge for you. Not at all. It is only how you are viewing the situation. Can you allow yourself to shift perspective? Which kind of reminds me of the meditation we were talking about in the plays. Can you allow yourself to shift perspective? Yes, you know this is truth. It is only in forgetfulness that fear creeps in. Oh yes, you forget for a moment that you are divinity and to lapse into erroneous belief that the challenges are more real than the love they veil. No, the real challenge is in the attitude, not in the circumstance or the situation. Will you remember that all is divinity manifesting and nothing exists outside of it? All is perfectly designed to help you fulfill your being, live in truth, experience your power, and reside in the perfection of your divine, loving heart. Be curious rather than afraid. What is loving seeking to draw out of you now? It is always love and interaction with you, even if sometimes we talked about, love, drawing love in so that you can give from the full plate. What is loving seeking to draw out of you now? It is always love and interaction with you, even if sometimes you feel like you are hauling a massive rock on your back up the steepest of all hills to build a temple to its apex. Yet when the temple is built, overlooking the ocean, and that's funny, overlooking the ocean, the Three of Wands sometimes has to do with overlooking the ocean, and a startling burst of golden orange, there we go. I just like when things come together. A golden orange sunset explodes across the water, turning its gold. You'll forget about climbing that hill. You'll just drink in the view instead. You'll forget what you were supposed to worry about. Oh, don't you hate it when that happens? You'll just have to love in that moment and be peaceful instead. It makes more sense to notice the sunset. It makes more sense to notice the sun. To notice the sunset than to turn your back upon its glory and to grumble about how heavy those rocks were. That actually reminds me of. Sorry, I'll finish it. And then in your inspiration, your forgetfulness, you'll dream of another temple in the process of creation, perhaps with more lugging about of great heavy rocks, and it will begin again, like the cycle we were talking about. But then so too will another captivating sunset be granted, best witnessed in your newly built temple that renders you speechless and spellbound. This oracle brings you guidance and comfort. Whatever is going on in your life right now, whether it brings you joy or deepest struggle, is the divine in you, as you breaking through into your life. Do not hesitate to trust in it, embrace it fully, and let it have its way. There is nothing there that needs to be resisted. You are safe to be wild, to be alive. Live it with love and let it unfold. The promise of success is yours, so allow yourself to be brought to it through the guiding wisdom of life and life that serves love. There is also a part of you that is daring to love, to live, to trust more so than before. You are even daring to quit your traumatic tendency to relive so many past hurts and aches. You no longer want to taunt yourself with failure and critique. You are less frightened of yourself, so you do not need to sabotage yourself anymore. You are learning from love's way and claiming it as your own. That is your path to victory assured. This oracle asks you to trust in your growing optimism, to let the war be over now and put behind you, even if it means weeping. With sweet sorrow and relief for a while, the sunset is golden. The struggle is behind you. Now you rest and enjoy the golden glow as you rest with love a long, long while. It's nice. It reminds me of, like I was talking about in Kenya, the sunset here that they're talking about, and they have traditional sundowners there, and everyone gets together from the camp and just goes out and watches the sunset, and has champagne and a bonfire, and it's really, really nice. The temples also remind me of like the 12 tribes of Israel and the Ark of the Covenant that I was talking about in the last video, but that's just a total side note. I think it's also just, we have the process of creation as well. I talked about the alchemical process and the cycle, and lugging about heavy rocks, kind of leaving those things behind, leaving behind the things that, like I said, in the Eight of Cups that aren't serving you anymore, and just moving towards your future, moving towards what does brighten your life, brighten your day, looking for the blessings, but knowing, like I said, life isn't promised to be easy, so we have to actively search out the things that make us happy and the things that make life worth living. And I always think of those like silly, like almost like Hallmark card type photos that people put up as their like backgrounds to things that are like blessed or something like that, and you're just like, like you just kind of want to like shoot yourself, because it's like saying something along the lines of like, what you can only be blessed if you're like, living in this Hallmark card. Like, what about these people in Aleppo and war-torn areas? It's not about living your small sheltered life and saying I'm so blessed. Maybe you can be grateful, but it's about finding the blessings and the things that aren't even necessarily even in the tough situations, seeing the blessings in disguise, seeing that sometimes, difficult situations come into our life and they become blessings. But it's not all like roses, like I talked about, like rose-colored glasses kind of, perspective. It's about seeing the beauty in the good and the tough situations and being grateful for when things are going well, but also, grateful for the times that teach us lessons and teach us, that bring us to new destinations that, sometimes aren't easy, and they take away things that we wish we could hold on to, like the Eight of Cups, but, leaving things behind and moving forward and creating new life and creating new blessings and seeking out the blessings, seeking out the love and the positive energies and just, the things that lighten our path and not being so fucking cliche about shit. That's what I kind of want to say to people that are just like, living in their small sheltered worlds and think that like, I don't know. It's just about getting outside of yourself and seeing what life experiences that you've had and how you can like impart, whatever wisdom, blessings, things that you've taken away from that and share them with others. About communication, exchange, I think, too. Learning from our trials, learning from lessons, learning from the things that we go through, and seeing the blessings in all of it. Seeing how they've taught us to grow, seeing how things move us forward, even if, they don't seem welcome at the time, but there's always, if we're actively searching for it, always ways to turn things into blessings in disguise, which I think ultimately are way more impactful and way more, helpful and way more almost like tough love, like love in a way, because we only grow, like we don't grow if things are just the same and things are always good and, we're content. We have to have that change, that friction that comes into our lives, that moves us forward, that makes us see things in a new perspective, and sometimes challenges us. But ultimately, we wouldn't move forward, we wouldn't change, we wouldn't evolve if there weren't challenges. So again, about like limitations and recognizing limitations and leaving what doesn't serve us behind. And even if it's tough, I had to leave like probably like 90% of my belongings in New York. They're still there in storage. I have like none of my clothes or anything with me, but it's just like not being attached to those things that weigh us down sometimes, even if we love them. Just finding peace in ourselves and in our, in God sometimes, and in learning and growing, finding wholeness within ourselves, not in our external environments or belongings, and just kind of letting go of those things, things that sometimes we associate to be blessings and all these things, because, at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. So what does make you want to grow, to see things in a new perspective, and to search those things out as well, not just wait for change to come at you, but to, like I said, forewarned is forearmed, but also in a more positive light, just seeking out change, also seeking out growth in whatever capacity you're interested in growing in, whether it's knowledge, talent, skill, spirituality, just learning about something new, kind of being ahead of the curve in that sense, being ahead of the change, being comfortable with change. Change is also adventure. It's growth, and change is what moves us along. Otherwise, we'd be stagnant. So, seeing change as a blessing as well, I think is important. So, I hope this was helpful, and if I think of anything else, maybe I'll make another video, but this is already getting pretty long, and so I hope that it's informative to some degree to you. And I hope you have a wonderful week and just try to see the blessings and blessings in change, blessings in the challenges, blessings in the positive things that come in as well. And just, finding new ways to communicate, following your star, following your inspiration, those initial sparks, looking for signs and symbols and the things that speak to you, and finding wholeness in yourself, finding ways to meditate, finding ways to recenter and balance yourself, whatever works for you. And yeah, just expanding what you know, expanding on where you're at, expanding, diving deeper, seeing below, seeing beneath the surface, seeking out new ways of going about things. Again, I'll put the meanings of these cards or links to the meanings below, and you can read those if you're interested. And yeah, just try to see the light, see the love, look at things through a filter of love, and just, get out of your head, get out of your environment, even maybe your routine, get out of your daily, if you've been feeling kind of stagnant, finding ways to integrate change and newness into your life, not staying in that sheltered sort of bubble that we sometimes, no matter who we are, where we are, can get kind of stuck in that, our routine, the things that make us comfortable. And it's about, I think, recognizing that so that we can then go out and find new ways to expand ourselves, our minds, our interactions, our communication, who we know, and finding new ways to reach out and to be a blessing in other people's lives, seeking those opportunities out, because they are opportunities and it always comes back to us. So, yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thanks for watching.